Hey y'all, to the millions of viewers, it's Tyler here. We're super excited. We got an Ouija board and we're gonna play with it and we're gonna get some ghosts and yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So stick around. Alright, here we go.
Alright. Tonight, whatever this is, we watched the Ouija experiment. And I know originally the schedule is to watch the Ouija experiment 1 and 2, and we were going to do both, and then just do a single review and save some time, but we decided to do the review now, so let's get started. Acting.
1.
I'll give it a 2.
What?
But just, it
He's
wasn't
on drugs
good.
or something.
It
He's
wasn't
high on Pocky, because that shit was the worst of the shit
That's the
that
thing.
we've
It is
seen
not
all
the worst.
month. All month.
The acting
We haven't seen
is not the
acting
worst.
as bad as this.
No. The acting was bad, but it wasn't the worst I've ever seen. Some of it, I won't even say it's necessarily incredibly believable, but they weren't terrible.
They were the worst actors
I can give it a 2.
ever seen. Ever. The lines that they delivered were so unbelievable.
Well, the thing is the lines, not the delivery. For a couple of them, yes. Like, Joseph is the retard, I did not buy.
Oh, it was absolutely
But
the delivery of the lines. I mean, this. We'll get into that later, but the acting alone itself, garbage.
Alright. Effects. I don't know if I want to do 3 or 4. I mean, the effects were pretty good. You know, the Ouija board thing moving by itself. I know it was a guy with a magnet, and the ghosts, when you saw them with the stretched out faces and everything, looked kind of cool. Like, I liked that effect.
Too CG-ish.
I'll give it a 3. I think it was at least average. 3 is fair, I think. It wasn't bad. I like the big, open, like, stretched out mouth effect. I just think that's always a cool look for monsters.
It does work, but not here. It was too CG-ish. I don't know, it's just...
I think you're jaded because of your distaste for the rest of the movie.
No. I've easily given things higher scores than what they should have based on just the story alone, but none of this worked for me. I mean, the ghosts in the hallway, they looked stupid. They looked like they were lit with, like, Halloween lights with the super bright floodlights that you put on the outside of a house.
Yep.
With their, just the extreme saturated color. It looked like that's how they were lit. And that looked stupid. It looked hokey and cheesy. The CG ghost faces were just too CG-ish.
So you're saying 2 then?
I'm going to give it a 2. It was just all the glitchy camera effects.
Yeah, that I hated. Making the glitchy camera... First of all, when you're talking to each other and you turn your camera on and off, there is no glitch. Unless your camera's from the 80s and it's a VHS recorder, there's no reason for the static or the glitching or the skipping. I have a bunch of digital cameras and not a single one of them does that.
Yeah.
Even the one on the drone, and that's a cheap drone. But still, none of them glitch. They turn on, they turn off. That's it. Now the fun part. Story.
1!
Yeah, definitely a 1. There is nothing good about this story. The story itself is not original. It's just a haunted Ouija board. It's been done 1,000 times. It's been done well in The Exorcist. The lines themselves that the people had to deliver were absolute garbage. The casting in some cases I don't even think was that good or believable. Everything here was just terrible. Terrible movie. I don't even know what else to say other than just everything was bad. So let's just jump into last bit. Scare factor. I'm going to give it a 1 as well. I mean, despite having some decent visuals, it wasn't scary. You were too bored to be scared. I mean, they did have 1 or 2 cheap jump scares that may have gotten someone to be startled for a second, but
not me.
Nothing that's going to stick with you at all. So this is definitely a 1.
I'll defend Paranormal Activity as being a good found footage movie. This is just...
I will not. But this is definitely worse. I will say, one thing to this movie's credit, and I do like, is that the people in the movie acknowledge that they're normal people and have watched movies. Because they reference other, like, horror movies, TV shows, they quote movies, like... It makes sense, because you always see movies where people are disembodied entirely from the real world, and they'll see a zombie or a vampire and not even know what it is or how to react, despite the popularity of both of those things. So it was nice when they said, no, you two aren't going to go off by your own, and I'm going to stay here, because that's when the black girl dies in the horror movies. Or like when the one guy quoted The Lost Boys. It was cheesy and corny, but it's something someone would do. People quote movies all the time. So I will give them that. It was still a terrible movie, but at least it was realistic in that one tiny aspect.
You're giving this movie way more credit than it deserves.
I'm just saying that one aspect was realistic. I'm not saying it's good, I'm just saying it's realistic.
Nothing in this movie was good.
Alright, so overall, this movie gets 1.5. And as much as I want to round it down, we have to call that a 2, but it does not even deserve a 2. This movie was absolute garbage. I couldn't recommend this to anyone unless I genuinely hated them, because nothing here will entertain you, nothing here is memorable. I'm never going to find myself quoting this movie or thinking about it or wanting to watch it again. It's just a terrible, horrible thing that I hope to erase from my memory as soon as I erase it from this card. That being said, there's no way in hell I'm wasting more time today on the second movie in this franchise. So stay tuned, and we're actually going to watch a surprise movie and review that instead, because I'm not doing that to myself on my favorite holiday. Bye!